All right, what's up, Dragon Brood? Today we want to do something different, and I'm going to crack this open. This is a box of Fallout Collector's Boosters. And honestly, when you try to find the English ones, I looked around the internet, and I was having a hard time finding these for under $800 consistently, and in some places going for $1,000 for just this box. I figured, why not have some fun and open it? I don't know what's in here. Y'all don't either. Let's go find out, though. And the other thing, too, is I know some people are going to look at this and be like, Universes Beyond, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's not do that today. That's not what this is about. We're just opening some packs and having some fun. Besides, traveling to all these events and stuff, I've actually met a lot of people. I say a lot, maybe 10 or 12 people. But a lot that have gotten into Magic. Hell, I know a couple specifically because of this set. And now they buy a bunch of other Magic stuff. I don't think I want to damage any of these expensive cards. So I'm going to go ahead and clip these tops because these boosters are pretty snug. But here we go. We're gonna go through these. Feral Ghoul. What I'm gonna try to do as well is I'll try to put a running tally in editing, so we kind of know, because I don't even know what a lot of this is. Blasphemous Act is a good reprint, but yeah, there's so much stuff here that I have like no idea what this is even gonna end up being worth. And there's so many rares in these, like some foil, some non-foil, obviously with like the borderless. Rootbound Crags, obviously a playable land. So yeah, this is going to be kind of crazy. I don't know. Oh, this is actually a fracture foil. I don't know. Yeah, that shows up good on camera there. Yeah, that's actually pretty sweet. So yeah, this is a pretty cool one to get. We all thought this card was going to be worth a little more and be more playable. Cliff Drop Retreat, not as exciting, but definitely in a fractured foil. I guess this one too. I didn't realize there was going to be that many in each pack. I thought they were going to be more rare. Yeah, and then there's these that are the alternate whatevers. And then Ravages of War, which was also... Was this whole thing almost rares? Hold on a second. I don't need... Like, seriously? I spend so much time, like, making content, and if I need cards, I just, like, I have store credit from things I've traded in or whatever. So I don't often get too many boosters. Oh, I'm going to damage these things if I'm not careful. But yeah, I guess there's just a lot of rares in here, which is kind of crazy. I was not expecting that. So yeah, I guess I'll put the lands in a separate pile. Wait, do lands possibly come? Okay, that's a normal foil. But I guess lands might be able to come refractive foil too? I don't even know. Recon Craft Theta. Like some of this I know because like friends I know play the game have talked about them. I mean, I know what a Terramorphic Expanse is. That's actually a common. And then I've actually had some customers back when I had my game store that were big fans. So like Farseek, obviously I know isn't a rare. And that's how I knew about all the stuff with Fallout. And even if you listen to our podcast, which you should check out, Color of Magic, which is what the playmat's for, if you're wondering what it says, we talked about this. Like when the set was close to coming out, here we go to the fractured foils. I guess this is the big reason to open these. I'll be curious to see what the price is on this stuff. I think we talked about it in the sense of I wasn't even a huge fan, but I knew it was going to be popular, And I think that's the thing. Oh, this is cool. I know people were really into this card, but I think that's part of the thing is just understanding that even though each of us as individuals may not like a certain property or be into it, doesn't mean it's a bad move. There's a big chunk of the audience who is into this stuff. The Wise Mothman. Mothman was one of the most played legends out of this, if I remember right, for Commander. All right, I'm trying to see if this shows up. Okay, yeah, you can read some of these. All right. I want to make sure you're at least getting a decent view of this stuff while I'm opening it. Because this is kind of crazy. Like I said, I don't normally... Like, we've done box openings on the channel periodically, but I've never done one with this level of box. Though we do have some cool stuff on the shelf behind me that kind of is just decorator pieces that maybe, just maybe, we should do. Isolated Chapel. All right, that's cool, I guess. Desolate Mire. So, like, there's a lot of random lands. Pip-Boy is actually a pretty cool card. I do know about that one. Sky Cloud Expanse. So, yeah, a lot of lands got printed in here. Putrefy, good card. Not necessarily rare. Arcade Ganon. This is a character I know nothing about. The lands, obviously, I know, because those show up all over the place. But yeah, these are actually, like, the flavor is really cool, even if you're not a fan of the property. Chaos Warp. But for me, there you go, another Fracture Foil. So there's at least one in every pack. Because the last pack, I think, only had one or two. The first one had a bunch. But no, this one has another one, too. I don't know. Maybe there are multiples in every pack. Because this one is one as well. So yeah, I have no idea. Maybe that's what makes these expensive. But what I was saying is that even if you're not a fan, and this one's foil, there's actually still stuff. Oh, I wonder if the radiation tokens are actually worth something, because there's not a place to really get those otherwise. Is that even if you're not a fan, right, there's still cards in the set that you can use. Like, I found stuff for my token. Oh yeah, so you can get a refractive foil. Here's one right here. It's a swamp. This is pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't even know that was a possibility. So there you go. Nice. But for me, there's still cards, you know, that, like, if I want to put stuff in my commander deck, I don't have to be a fan. They're just really cool to still play with. Captain of the Watch. That's cool. That's a card I hadn't seen in a minute. Oh, here we go. Silver Shroud Costume. This is actually a pretty good one, too. I've been seeing people play with this one a lot in Commander. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like, it's okay for us to not be fans of the various properties. And there's still benefit to us, right? By getting more cards for the things we want. Because the reality is, even if it doesn't 100% look like Magic, does it really matter? Like, these are still close enough. Like, and we can still play with our stuff. But I don't know. I'm like spitting in the wind or whatever at this point. Oh, Skull Clamp. That's cool. Actually, a fractured foil Skull Clamp. That's pretty nice. Like, people are going to like it. People aren't. Like, we've kind of already are at that stage, you know. So, like, I'm preaching to the choir for the most part. You either accept it or you don't. It's okay, though. I do think, though, in a couple of years, they're going to be able to do a Universes Within, because a lot of cards are going to end up getting valuable because they're not going to be reprinted, right? They're not going to exist anywhere else. That's just a regular foil planes. And because I was trying to give this some good thought, like, what would that really be? What would it look like? And the truth is, I think you can do it almost like you would do a Masters set. You just call it Universes Beyond or Universes Within Masters, right? Because they're going to be stuff like in Fallout, Warhammer, Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who, that honestly won't be able to be reprinted, right? They won't have the license for them. It's going to wear out. Like, the license exists long enough, because I think Warhammer, they've done something like 4 or 5 printing of those commander decks, right? But at some point, that license is going to expire, unless they do another Warhammer set and renew the license and the ability to reprint the old stuff or whatever. Ooh, a Panharmonicon. That's pretty cool. If they do that, then sure, you can print more. But if they don't, you won't be able to print more. So the easiest thing to do is just make a set where you can put it all. Oh, 2 Panharmonicons and the same. Oh, I guess one's a fracture foil though. But yeah, is that beneficial? Is that what people want? Is that what that looks like? Man, these fractured foils are really cool. Vandal Blast. And a fancy Arcane Signet. This is probably worth a little bit. I'll have to look that up. I mean, I'm going to look these all up. You'll see stuff on camera that I don't see till the edit. By the way, if you want to see the final total, I will have it at the end. And I'm going to kind of give a synopsis on like what we came across, what we found, the value, all that. So you may want to check that out at the end of the video as well. Also, I need to cut these here because I've had, for whatever reason, when I've done box openings or when I bought collections and go through them, people for some reason think you're just like, if it's off camera, they can't see it, that like you're somehow seeding the piles of cards or what's going to be on camera to make it more exciting. It's like, I have nothing invested one way or the other. Like, if this isn't valuable or it's not exciting, oh well. Like, that's kind of part of the process. Like, I don't care. Plus, to be honest, for most of us, the difference between the video blowing up or not isn't going to be that much more in dollar value, so it's not even worth our time and effort to even do that. Ooh, I don't think I saw this Solemn Simulacrum. It's actually pretty sweet. I kind of like the art on this one. That's cool. Path of Ancestry. There's so many of those at this point. Military base. That's cool. Sungrass Prairie, there's so many of these too. But hey, this one at least is full art, so that's kind of cool. Got another one of these in the last pack, but the other one was fractured foil, so we'll see what the difference in price is on those. But yeah, like, when we're doing these, a lot of it's just to show stuff off and just like have fun with y'all, you know? Let y'all share in opening this ridiculously expensive box because it's expensive and the average person isn't going to be able to go out and buy one. More fractured foils. I wasn't paying attention. This Junktown. Add a mana, you can pay 5 and sacrifice it, create 3 junk tokens. All right. I mean, there's cards that care about that, but that's very niche. Captain of the Watch probably isn't that exciting. Colonel Autumn, though, maybe. So, yeah. This will be fun to see what these are worth. Because I didn't look before I opened. I just got a weird idea, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to record this with the people and see what happens. And just see, because I have no idea. Prime Mirrorlurk Queen. Can't be countered. Like, I'm trying to... Here we go. Let me put it up a little higher. Maybe there you go. It does have flash, but I don't think I've seen anybody play it. And then an energy reserve, which again, I don't think... Well, that's not true. We do have an energy. We have some other energy tokens, so we don't actually need those. Again, there you go. You can see it. But yeah, so that one, not so much. I think maybe just the radiation one might be worth a little bit. Maybe I'll speed this up a little bit too. I don't know. We'll see how in editing. I might go a little bit faster through some parts. The Necropolis. The Master, who looks pretty quirky. Sunken Hollow. Curie. Yeah, at this point, I'm really going to be looking forward to... Oh, Fervent Charge. What the actual fractured foils are, because so many of these are legendary or rare, so be kind of curious. Windbrisk Heights as a fractured foil. That's kind of neat. Fetid Pools, also as a fractured foil. Not the most exciting card to get. I'm sure that one's still not worth much. And then Caesar, Legion's Emperor, with the alternate art. And Synth Infiltrator, also alternate art. So yeah, these are cool. They're very neat looking. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left for those of you that are keeping count. But, you know, again, I might actually have that on camera. Make it easier for y'all, or on screen. Make it easier for y'all to keep up. All right, Armory Palette. Like some of these, now that I'm going to go a little faster because now some of these we've seen a few times. Rancor is always cool to have as a reprint. Really sweet card. Always worth a little bit, by the way. If you're buying collections, know all your little cards. If I could give you a tip to be able to make more from buying collections, the little cards are where all the money's made, right? Everybody knows the big cards, but if you know what commons or uncommons tend to have value in certain collections, you can definitely make more money that way because you'll know what to move. I think people take that for granted, but that's really where a lot of the money comes from. So oftentimes when I'm looking at collections, I will try to figure out, like, okay, what years was stuff in there? What sets is it made from? And then that gives you an idea, because you'll have a rough idea of, like, okay, well, there's a bunch of commons in this particular set that are worth a lot, or uncommons, or whatever. And that sort of tells you what extra money you can make off the collection. Because there's a lot of cards that fall in that. No, another radiation token. A lot of cards fall into what I would call like the $2 to, in some cases, you know, $15 or $20 range as commons and uncommons. But those will get tossed in with people's bulk sometimes years ago, and they just don't go back through them. Or they'll do, and they don't recognize that certain things are more valuable or not. And that drastically changes the value of what the collection's worth. And I'm not saying to rip anybody off, because you don't want to do that. Matter of fact, for those of you that are longtime fans, I had a collection I got that was probably valued at 14, 15K when it was all said and done. I think quick turnaround was like 11 or 12K, of which I maybe paid $1,000 for, because the person told me most of the stuff in there was just bulk. And then when I went through it, it definitely was not bulk. So I got back with them and we ended up giving them more money. And since then, because people say, oh, you already sold it to you, you don't have to give them anything. And technically you're right, but, you know, good karma and all that. And as it turns out, that person has recommended multiple people to sell cards to me since then. So doing right by them one time was probably worth 3 times as much as the extra money I went and gave back to them. So definitely a thing. Oh, this card looks wild. Harold and Bob. First Newmans. All right. That's something. Vigilance, Reach. All right. Cool card. Cool card. A fractured foil that. Temple of Deceit. Fractured and full art. Maybe that changes the price on this because regular ones aren't worth very much. Mr. House. All right. So I will say this about this particular set. I feel like when I've opened other collector's booster boxes, the distribution of the like rare things didn't feel as clean as this set does. Right? So far, basically every set has, or every pack has 2 to 4 of the fractured foils. They seem to each have at least 2, I think, of these weird arts, whatever you want to call them, the computer readouts or whatever. So that's pretty cool. So if you were looking for those, it feels like you'll do better getting the ones you want in here, which is actually pretty nice. Because collector's boosters are expensive. Oh, wait, this is a fractured foil. Some of these are like way early in the pack. So does it mean there's going to be a lot in this one? Nope, because this one's normal. Oh, weird. Temple of Enlightenment. There's another Harold and Bob, just regular foil. All right, weird. Not sure what that's about. Open the vaults. All right, that's actually a cool one to get. Nuka Nuke Launcher. Fair enough. I don't know. I'm sure there's lore to this one in the game somewhere. Wake the Past. More brown. Hardened Scales. Oh, this is actually pretty sweet. Hardened Scales with the crazy art. Or crazy foil. That's cool. I mean, it does have kind of crazy art. I actually play this. I might actually keep that instead of trying to like trade or sell it. Ooh, a Farseek as well. Farseek's actually pretty popular. So this might be worth a little bit. Assaultron Invader and Nuclear Fallout. Oh, so this is actually both the fractured foil and the little computer readout thing. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I guess back to what I was saying. We've got 2 left. Is that generally, I feel like when I've opened the others, you're like, oh, I got a bunch of like alternate arts, but I got a bunch of like common foils or whatever. And it's just like the experience didn't feel necessarily as nice on some of them. But going through this one, I feel like if I was a fan of Fallout and I was looking to buy some of this for whatever the alternate stuff was, feels like I at least know I have a chance of getting it. Like if I was collecting the little computer readouts or the fractured foils or whatever we're calling these things, right? Like I feel like I would have a real shot of being able to get them. And I think that's really big when you're talking about somebody spending, well, at launch, you know, $25 to $30 a pack or whatever it was. Whereas now, if you want them, individual packs are what, like $70 or something crazy. So yeah, it's cool to know that you at least have a chance of getting what you want. Because otherwise, it makes for kind of a bad experience, I would think. All right. We're getting toward the end of these. There's another cool fractured foil. These really do look neat. I don't know, across the table, they probably don't read very well. But just have them yourself if you're a foil fan. They're pretty cool. Tireless Tracker. That's a cool one to have. I forgot that was in the set, but flavor-wise, it makes sense. Dog Meat. And Ragstad. I actually play some of these in one of my commander decks, actually. I say some of these because I use these as their own token. Because when they evolve, you make another one of these. So I just use these as their tokens for themselves, which is kind of goofy, but it makes for a fun situation when he actually gets cast it. And then the last one. Let's see what we got here. Elder Arthur Maxon. That's such a sweet name. I don't know if he's any good, but cool name. Ruthless Radiation, Behemoth Sledge. That's a reprint. Camp. Dark Water Catacombs, also a reprint. Overflowing Basin. This is one of the new ones, I think, that didn't exist, but got printed in this set to finish the cycle. More Panharmonicons. I think we got one of almost every variety. More Brown. Glacial Fortress, which is just an old print. Sean, Father of Synths. Stolen Strategy. Cass, Hand of Vengeance. I mean, obviously, more fractured foils. I'm kind of just like going through as we're getting to the end here. Soul Ring. Oh, this is cool. This is the first Soul Ring we've gotten in these packs, I think. So that's actually pretty nice. Centurion of the Marked. All right, well, hey, that Soul Ring, not too bad to end on. But let's go ahead, let me add these up, and then we'll talk about how we feel about this. Okay, now that we've gone through that, there's kind of a couple of important things I want to note for y'all. The first is that had you gone back and gotten these when the retail value even got up to $250, $300, like obviously these still would have been pretty good because they were very limited supply, and that's kind of going to be the case going forward with a lot of Universes Beyond stuff, right? If you can get it early on the collector's boosters, then you might as well, because the value seems to always go up on those for the most part. So something to keep in mind. The other thing is that you might still be looking going, wow, I can't believe these boxes go for $800, $1,000. But one of the things to understand is that when the product is limited, a lot of times the price that you see for sale is because of the collectability of the sealed product itself, not necessarily for what's inside. Like even if you go back through older sets, some of them are worth a huge amount of money if you have them sealed, because there's not that many sealed versions of that left in the world, and that's what's keeping that price up. Kind of in a way, the product itself has become more of a collectible than even the stuff inside, and that's another thing to keep in mind. Now, in most cases, if you want to get stuff from the Universes Beyond stuff, might as well just get regular cards. No need to worry about getting the collector's boosters, especially if you're going to play with them. If you want collectibles and the value to still be good long term or whatever, well, yeah, getting the rare versions of this stuff is pretty big. Oh, a couple of quick things I want to note as well. I don't know if I noted it in the video. I realized when I was going back and pricing these up, they're called surge foils, and I think it kept saying something else. Also, I think I missed a couple of small cards, so add like $5 to value, but doesn't really change much. But yeah, am I upset about this? No, because I got my box forever ago and I just finally got around to opening it. But I feel like this box was kind of indicative of being an average box. Now, you could still hit one or two of the key surge foils that could still be $50, $100 if you, in the case of the Soul Ring. But generally speaking, you're probably going to be in like the $500 to $650 range, somewhere in there, opening up your product. So kind of just beware whenever you're buying limited product or sealed stuff like this, because that's kind of the issue you're going to run into unless you hit 3 or 4 of the biggest cards available to get you up to the price that you paid. But I do have some other collector's boosters, so do y'all want to see some of those open here on the channel? Do you hate this type of content? I don't know. Y'all let me know down in the comments. But that's all I have for now. We'll see you next time.